G'day. Hello and welcome. Welcome to the final preview edition of My Blue Heaven for 2021. It's finally arrived. And I'm going to be honest, it's going to be pretty short and sweet. I've got as much interest in previewing this game as I've got in following Scandinavian politics. You see, my mind is elsewhere at the moment. And it's on footy, don't get me wrong, it is on footy. Because as always, we've been conditioned, we've been conditioned as fans not to worry about finals, okay? No, that's not on the agenda. What we've been conditioned to is following the draft, getting excited about the trade period. Can we get a few blokes in the All-Australian team and get all up in arms about that? Because that's our life as a supporter, all right? So while we're worrying about that, then we're celebrating Eddie Betts and Levi Casbolt in the final game of the year, saying goodbye. Great servants of the football club. Great servants. I've done all my reflection during the week with those two guys. Great. But I cannot get excited about that game. And while we're doing that and getting all teary and saying goodbye to another season, Essendon, our opponents this Saturday night, the Giants, Fremantle this weekend, they're excited. Their fans are excited. They're alive. They're kicking. They're tasting it. They're smelling it. They can feel finals in the air. They can almost touch it. Imagine how that would feel. I've forgotten how that feels. I've actually forgotten, but just imagine it. Imagine it. Essendon. Wow. And you know what? I hope they win a fucking final. I really do, if they get there. I hope they win a final and shove it up our arse. Imagine a Carlton supporter saying that. Well, I just said it. So my mind is elsewhere. It's not on the draft. It's not on All-Australian. It's not on the trade period. I couldn't give a shit about that. You know where it is at the moment. It's on what's going to happen. Probably Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Hopefully it's a little bit earlier. The anticipation. My mind's not on this game. You know what it reminds me of? When I was younger, right, and I had a privileged upbringing, okay, in a working class family. I was the youngest of three boys. Mum and Dad worked their asses off for us, gave us everything. We're from the western suburbs, blue collar, great education, seasons tickets every year to the football. Always had stuff. We were spoiled. And Mum and Dad just sacrificed everything for us. They worked and worked and worked and worked and worked and worked and worked. Okay, in our little town of Hoppers Crossing. One of the quirks of my mum's around Christmas time, which always was for a kid, wow, Christmas time, yeah. I don't know why she did this, but maybe your family did it as well. But she used to put the Christmas presents under the Christmas tree. Wow, how unusual is that? No, but what she used to do is she put all the Christmas presents, all of them, for us boys, and we had no relatives here in Australia, it was just us five, under the Christmas tree, a week out, 7 days before Christmas Day. Can you imagine how torturous that was for a young boy? Okay, to look at those Christmas presents under the Christmas tree every day. The different shapes and sizes, some round, some square, some triangle, some big, some small. You prod them, pick them up and shake them when mum and dad weren't looking. You were just tempted just to peel the sticky tape off and have a look inside. It was like torturous. Why, mum? Why? The focus has gone off Christmas. It was just what was inside, what treasures were inside. That's me right now. That's me. What is in that present? What is in that box come Monday? Who is it going to be? Who is it going to be? We need change, don't we? That's where we're at. We need change. Teague's taken some real swipes, some big swipes. Not quite so much baseball bat swipes, maybe badminton swipes with a badminton racket. Whoops. And they've been directed at the board, clearly at the board and the administration of our football club. And maybe they're justified, maybe. But all his anger and disappointment is at the club, the administration, the decision makers, the lack of support, the lack of transparency, the unknown, which I find, I don't know, I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it at all. And once again, that might make me callous and disrespectful. But you know what? I understand the club is a bit stinky. And I'll get to the new president at another time. I don't want to discuss that right here, right now. We understand that. But you know what? You know what, David? Us fans, right? Us fans, this is what we see. We see what happens when our team crosses the white line. We see it with our eyes. We see it. And then most of the time as fans, we judge accordingly with our hearts. And our hearts are broken. Our hearts are broken. I don't know, it's not broken by the board or the administration. It's broken by what we see on the field. What we see on the field and the behaviours and efforts of our players on the field and our team. The team. That's what we hold in here, the team. That's what we want to be proud of. And you're responsible for that team. That's your responsibility. So I want to know, while you take swipes at the board, I want to know what you think about the players and what part the players have played in your demise. Because one thing that has been consistent since you took over as coach, since you were announced as the senior coach of the Carlton Football Club on August the 15th, 2019, and you said it there in that press conference that you had enormous belief in this group and you believed in the direction of the key stakeholders of the football club, but your consistency that you believed in this group that they could go forward and you wanted to make change, and that change would happen over the next few years. Improvement. One thing that has been consistent every press conference, and there's been a lot of losses in there, that you have enormous belief in this group. So I want to know what part the players have played in your demise, because as far as we can see, the fans, as far as we can see, or I can see, I don't speak on behalf of every fan, I see a group of players that don't believe in you. That don't believe in you. And as much as you keep telling us, believe in this group, 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 it never happens. Nothing ever changes. You mentioned in that press conference, you thanked the club for the opportunity. You thanked the club. The opportunity, you got the opportunity. Okay, this blue chip job, okay, at this football club. You got that opportunity. They believed in you too. They believed in you too. As much as you believed in the group, they believed in you. You said in that press conference that you had no illusions of your responsibility to move this club forward on the field, You also said the biggest thing that you'd learnt, okay, in your time as being a coach, before you got your senior opportunity, that you learnt to do things your way. Your words were, my way. You also mentioned when you went to St Kilda as assistant coach, you didn't do things your way. You thought you tried to do what the coach was asking you to do, and you didn't coach well. So your mantra is to do things your way, my way. David, your way hasn't worked. It hasn't worked. It hasn't worked. Your intentions were good. Why wouldn't they be? Why would you take on a job unless you were confident? Okay, your intentions were good, but they have not worked. So you can take swipes at the club who gave you that opportunity. I keep thinking about the song, okay, the Frank Sinatra song, My Way. I did it my way. And I think about you, and so I face the final curtain. My friends, I'll say it clear. This is what I want to finish on about this weekend. I suppose one little bit of interest watching this game, and your enormous belief in this group, this enormous belief. Do they believe in you? Because you know what? They've shown that they can't lift for Ed Curnow for his 200th game. They showed they can't lift for Mark Murphy playing his last game and his 300th last week. They probably won't be even able to lift for Levi Casbolt. And the little maestro, Eddie Betts. God, I love that photo of Eddie smoking with Mitch Robinson. It's actually my favourite ever photo. That is reality right there. Little Eddie, what a champ. This is what I want to see. If the players love you and respect you, which I'm sure they do, or they say they do, if they believe that you've been treated poorly by the administration, they will fucking die for you this Saturday night. They will fucking die for you. And you know what? Even though you're gone, at least you can leave. At least you can leave. And I think you can leave with your head held high because you've probably put in everything, but at least you can leave with that and say, look what they fucking did for me in this last game. And you can face that press conference. And it doesn't necessarily have to be a win, because we know the chances of beating the Giants, what they've got to play for, are very, very remote. But you know what? They were remote last week against Port Adelaide, but we saw one of the most pathetic efforts and applications from a football team for a very long time. A team that did the jumper a disservice. So the players, let the players decide on Saturday night. Let them decide. Let them decide. It's bye for now.